right, we made it. Another catastrophe healing talk. And the Weavings, Dawn of a New World. Kay's new book is coming out pretty soon. And we're going to talk more about the book in future talks. But today we want to talk about something very specific, something that caught my eyes after reading just a few pages. And I have a feedback.
You sound good to me.
Me too.
Okay, I have a feedback loop, so I don't know what's going on. Give me a second here. All right, can you hear me? All right, continue with my thing. And today we're going to talk about this, as I said, a specific passage that I read after just a few pages into the book. And I just love it. And I want to know more about it from Kay. And the line that caught my attention is learning to sail through all points of time in our eons of history and love at once. Now I'm going to read more of that, more things surrounding that passage to give a larger context, but then we're going to have Kay talk about all this. So here's the whole passage. The weaving symbols that are the heart of these materials speak of learning to sail through all points of time in our eons of history and love at once, being part of all these points of time all at once, feeling their connections, their threads, their coherence. They speak of focus, purposefulness, being heart-centered, heart-knowing. They speak of the profound and mysterious creative power of our attention held secret for millennia. This is the age of the heart, say the pre-flood ancients, the era where the heart comes into its own and wakes up the true nature of humanity, kept buried for millennia. These symbols are about changing the paradigm we have lived by at its very core inside each of us, throwing all the old ideas and ways out and building clean and new from the wholeness of our beings, from our songs. All right, there you have it. My name is Helmut. I'm here with our friends Laura and Laura. Hi, guys. And of course, Kay. So, Kay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Oh, yeah. These are the kind of things that we usually go into detail talking about in the advanced studies. But I'm going to try to explain as best as I can what that all means. To start with, we're going to be using our language, the English language, a modern language, to describe something that the ancients have talked about for forever. And they were talking about these things like 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago. They say these teachings came from the people from the stars who came and lived with them. And a lot of this was telepathic back then. The star people were telepathic. A lot of the earth people were telepathic. The way they used their languages was completely different than the way we use ours today. We use ours today, whether it's English or you got Spanish or German and French or Chinese and Japanese and all the rest of the modern languages. Yes. They are very shallow. They're thin. They are single words that are just strung on a line next to each other. We're utilizing our linear mind with our languages when we talk and when we think. We're not utilizing much of anything else. Sometimes our emotions get involved because it's something that just kind of stirs it all up and we feel it with the words. But mostly it's just the linear mind. And in the modern culture, the linear mind has been deitized. it is the king of the kings. It's the goal. It's, you raise your kids so that their linear mind is stronger than anybody else's and they're sharper than anybody else and they can remember all this stuff. They can memorize things, and hang on to that and deliver it. And they don't really learn how to think. They don't learn how to feel. They don't learn how to approach things purely from their emotions without getting the linear mind stuck in the way. When the linear mind thinks it's the cat's meow and the ruler of the roost, it's a tyrant. And it keeps everything in line according to what it has learned and what it believes dogmatically, with a lot of energetic and influence there. Just dogmatically, it believes this and it's right, and they'll fight for it. The linear mind thinks it's a dictator in the modern culture and acts like one. And that's not what the ancients say was the purpose of having a linear mind at all. So that's backwards and upside down. We're supposed to be feeling stuff. We have to operate from the heart level, feeling and feeling and feeling, both with physical senses and with our spirit senses. So most modern people don't even have a clue they have any spirit senses, as they never even heard of it. That knowledge has just been lost long ago. And so the linear mind just becomes the dictator, and we forget how to do all these other things like feel, the spirit feelings. So when we're thinking about something like traveling through time, letting our awareness, our point of awareness travel through time, and where maybe it's our personal time, where we have been. Oh my God. Yeah, past lives. And where was I, back in this era and this era? And was I on this other planet, or was I on the earth, and was I in that culture? Was I one of those people? It can be extraordinary experience to come in contact and in memory, in remembering. You're putting your pieces back together, remembering. You're putting those pieces back together of where you were, who you were, what kind of a person you were, or were you a person at all? Did you decide to be a tree on another planet for a jaunt of 100 years or so? We have all these possibilities, and probably through the many eons we have existed, we have spent time in all these different kind of places. We've decided to be part of the water, or maybe we decided to be a part of a whole planet or a star, piece of the nebula, one of these huge nebulas. Maybe it's this whole big area of this giant frothing nebula full of colors and energies. We can be any of these things that we want. We can get born anywhere we want to be. We have that choice as an entity. What Helmut said as he was reading this, our song. Our song is our beingness, our totality. This is what is eternal. This has been around forever, kind of literally forever. A very unique individual piece of creator. That's what we are. That's what song is. That's what your song is, your beingness. And we can take our consciousness and our point of awareness and point it through time, where we have been before. And we start to remember. It's not a thinking thing. It's not like you're in a theater looking at a movie, that it's out there somewhere. It's on the screen. You can keep it at a distance like that if you really need to for a moment. Maybe it was you're looking at a moment that has a huge amount of emotions and energies in it, good or bad, and you just need to back off a minute. You can look at it that way, but the real experience is to be like you're right back in it, either in your own body or you're kind of walking next to your body from that time, and just remembering everything and where you're going, where you're sitting, what you're participating in, what the culture was like, what your body was like. How long did you live? Were you male or female, or were you in some species that doesn't engage in that kind of male-female contact? You can remember all of them. When you start to remember them, you don't remember all of them all at once. That's an awful lot of experiencing and information, a little bit too much at once. But we usually start with something that seems really relevant to who we are, where we are, what we're doing right now in this lifetime. And that's what the spirits show us. Sometimes it's little glimpses, little pieces. Sometimes you get this whole long spread of the lifetime. You're remembering relatives, your children, all the things that you did, the way things were done. You can remember the style of interaction and culture, quality. And one of the most astounding things is remembering the love. The love will take you right there. Without knowing what real unconditional love is and feeling it, knowing it right now in this body, you aren't going to get much with past lives. You won't get very far. It'll be kind of a washed experiment. You have to be able to feel that love and feel beauty and feel gratitude, genuine gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a nice word that's polite. It is a huge feeling. It's a whole body and whole spirit feeling. Your whole song feels it. And it just carries so much thanks and appreciation and so much love. A love of yourself, love of everything around you. When you start to learn these things, this is kind of why it tends to be something talked about in the more advanced classes, because people haven't gone through learning how to bring this back in their lives, the love and the gratitude and the forgiveness and the beauty, understanding what beauty meant to the ancients. There's some indigenous cultures now that still hold on to that concept, this beauty. And it's not just like a pretty painting. You got to have a nice piece of art somewhere. Or, oh, look at that building. Isn't that nice? Have a nice piece of art somewhere. I'm hearing it's coming back at me. Okay. Beauty is something that we feel. And with these feelings, they aren't necessarily emotional. We have all these other feelings. We have feelings like our physical senses. And like I was talking about, we have spirit senses. And these are all kinds of different feelings that we're capable of. Feeling love is one of them. Feeling gratitude is another. Feeling forgiveness is another one. These are spirit senses. Some people call them spirit gifts. And we have to have been able to experience these. In the beginning, we don't always hold on to every one of these things every minute of the day. We kind of get caught up in our regular old life and forget them for a few hours, and then we realize we haven't been paying any attention to any of that at all. So we kind of go back into thinking about it, feeling it, feeling, bringing that feeling back. And when you've had a number of these different experiences of feeling your own song, being in your own song, feeling the song adventures, song ceremony, you start to have these past life memories, and they slowly just come to you, just one after the other. And everybody's different at what kind of speed they come to you, or they don't always come in chronological order the way we think of time, because on that scale of things, looking way outside of time and space, and you're looking at all these different lifetimes, time has no restriction on you. You're outside of time and space. So space has no restriction on you. Time has no restriction on you. Your consciousness can move freely throughout this thing that we call time, and we realize so many of these different lifetimes, and all of them, the bottom line is always love and gratitude and beauty, happiness, relating our relationships to ourselves, to the others around us, no matter how different. And we can perceive all of them all at once. It happens quite easily. And you have a feeling of it, you have a realization of it, that These are, when you think of chronological time, these are all at different times. And I was, this person and that kind of person, and over all these places through the different eons. And there's so many places probably on the earth as well. And being things different than you, not always a sentient being. You might have been a tree, or you might have been a buffalo, or a jaguar, or an eagle, or a dinosaur, or anything. Might have been the water, etc., etc. You could be anything because everything is alive and conscious. So you can take a life that you want to explore and experience and learn from. And as you are remembering, reliving these lives, and some of them, like I say, you could have this whole string of them and feel them all at once. You could be remembering all of them at once. And there's always a very special thread through all of them. And that thread is your song, your consciousness, your aliveness, your song, your beingness is in that form, that body, doing that little dance. And over here doing this one and this one. And it's you. It's the real you. So in Katasi, we're always talking about knowing who you are, knowing your song, feeling your song. And when we do the song ceremony, we learn how to feel our own song. And its uniqueness, its signature, it's so unique in the universe. Individual and unique piece of creator. And you feel that, you hook to it, you connect to it, you remember it, all these different lifetimes. And it can be an array of feeling, experiencing them all at once. And you're feeling the eons, you're feeling the cosmos. Your awareness is way expanded beyond your body, beyond the earth, beyond this time, space, and earth. It is the most incredible, beautiful feeling. The thing about real beauty is that it is a feeling thing that's full of love and it's full of harmonies. It's full of poetry. It's full of magical sounds and colors. And you can look out the window and see the tree outside. And it's pure beauty. Everything that beauty has to offer. Beauty has consciousness. It has aliveness. It has beingness, action, activity, interaction. And we need beauty around us. In a modern culture, we've systematically taken beauty away. We've taken it out of our lives. If you've been, scanning through the internet, or maybe it's YouTube or some other part of the internet that you like to look through and look for videos or what people are saying or doing, and thinking, this is really kind of ugly. This design, this way it's all presented and happens, is pretty ugly. That's on purpose. It's ugly on purpose. The things that are tearing our world apart are purposefully making everything possible ugly. And we learn how to think ugly thoughts about ourselves and about others and about our lives, about the world. We end up believing there is no real beauty left. There's nothing worth really bothering trying to find it. We get very, very hard about that, jaded. But beauty is everywhere. It still is. It is everywhere. It's in the sky, it's in the clouds, it's in the trees and the plants, it's in the dirt. Whether you've got yucky dirt or you've got fertile dirt or it's desert sandy dirt, it doesn't matter. It's exquisite. It has life in it. It has life you can't even imagine how much. When I was really little, I was still in diapers. My mother was trying to diaper train me. Ha ha ha. And I had managed to get outside the back door and down the steps. And there's this big plant or dirt area. And there were the blackberry bushes there against the house. And it was a little bit muddy. I guess they had watered it or rained or something. And I loved that. I was just really, really drawn to it. And I was still in that probably should have had the diapers on stage kind of. That's about how big I was. And I sat down in the mud and I just started just running my hands through it. And I got it, on my face. I had it all on my clothes. And what I was seeing, I was in awe. I was in beauty. I was sitting in the middle of beauty. In this mud, it was sparkling, and there were all these colors and this aliveness that just moved everywhere around the dirt, in the dirt, between the grains of the dirt, in that dampness. It was so astoundingly alive and beautiful, and I just wanted it. I couldn't get enough of it. I just had to have it all over me, and the stuff was all the colors, everything was just all over me. The more mud I got on me, it was in my hair, and I remember my mom coming down the steps. I think she was expecting us to go someplace. She had dressed me up to to be able to take me out to go someplace. I'm sure I didn't look the part anymore. And she got kind of upset. And my sister was there. Then my father was behind her. And they're all coming down. They're looking at me and they were all going, "Ooh, oh no, get out of the mud. You got to get her out of the, oh my God, look at how, ooh." They were going on and on. They were so disgusted with it. And I'm saying, "Look at what this is. Look, look at how beautiful this is. Do you want some? This, I gotta have more. Don't take this away from me. This is gorgeous. It's so alive." And I could hear the sound of it all, the beautiful, beautiful colors, sounds, sparkles. And of course, they picked me up, took me off, dumped me in the sink, and got me washed and changed as fast as possible. But I hadn't remembered that. I mean, that really had gotten stomped out of my memory until my teacher, Chia, had me on the beach. She had me digging in the sand, playing in the sand. Just sit there in the sun, play in the sand, enjoy it, feel it. Take your thoughts out. Just empty your mind. Don't have thoughts. Don't think words. Just observe and feel. And all of a sudden, I could see all the same things again. The colors and the sounds and the sparkles and so much life. It was so alive and so beautiful. And I instantly remembered that scene from my childhood. That's the stuff we stomp out of us in the modern culture. It's just squished and yelled and spanked out of us. Yeah. So I think that's a good bit of what I could say right now about what feeling all the ages and eons of time and places and lifetimes and all at once. But I'd love to hear what you ladies have experienced, and Helmut too.
That was beautiful. I tell you, Kay, you do these sharings and I just want to get out my paint. Probably not. It's just like that, I could visually see art and beauty and things, it just I crave creating more beauty, hearing, and it's like being surrounded by more. I mean, and you guys know I'm addicted to beautiful things. I have a plant addiction, a beautiful plant, art, all of it. I love being, but I loved how you explained it. It's not we're not talking about what modern world calls attractive. We're calling beauty. That and I think, I loved hearing one of the things, we've gone through these processes, and in the advanced studies, we intentionally go to find past lives, as some of and past experiences. And then once you do that, it trickles in. But you talking today that you've got to have the unconditional love, or else you're not getting anywhere, and I realize your steps in our teaching, that's what you led us to, and that's what opened it up, and that's what gave it accuracy, because I think we've all like met those people who tell us about our past lives. I think each one of us have had that experience, like you've had this and you've had that. And and I think every once in a while they might trip over something close, but having that experience with it, that you've led us to that experience it, and being a room with other people, you realize we're often in that same experience with you, because you start knowing the signatures, and getting that accurate information. But I loved hearing today that, it comes with that unconditional love. It comes with the beauty. It just like, I could just see that's the art, that I'm just, I want to screw off the rest of the, sorry, I've got kill the rest of the day, find my pencils. I could just see this web, wearing this web, almost like a gown with all of these past lives woven into it. That was a part of me. It was just this visceral feeling of standing there in the multi-universe, seeing this woven tapestry of me, as part of me. It was just so well, I mean, of course, You speak so beautifully too. Your sharings, you know, I'm feeling them vibrate me at a core, you know, so that's what I have to share. This dance of the eons. I feel it. Laura?
Yeah, it's like I have like a rush of a whole bunch of stuff I want to share. I'll start with the beauty. You know, when you start to do the song ceremony and you start to really feel your song, I was not aware that I was going to start to get the trickle in of past lifetime stuff. Like, I didn't get any warnings. At least when I started it, I didn't know I was going to get any past life stuff, but there's just so much there and available that I didn't realize was going to be available when I started to explore my song and get to know who and what I really am, my consciousness. And it's so amazing when you get that lifetime in front of you. It's filled full of so much feeling and remembrance. And I've remembered at least a dozen, and some I was other things like an animal, or I've never been a tree that I've remembered yet, but it's I can feel my signature even then. It's like when you get this lifetime that comes up, and it's like I can feel that same consciousness. That's me right here. It's all I can say is like, wow. And the more that I know my song, the more I'm able to feel the beauty around me as well. And I want to add to that, because the beauty, when you really start to see beauty and you feel beauty, you can start to feel that linear mind coming in and analyzing it, but there's just so much feeling in it before your mind starts talking to you about, oh, that's beautiful. And it's like a wave of energy just fills your heart. It's like you're experiencing it with your heart, as opposed, then all of a sudden, then the linear mind wants to go in and tell you what you're feeling, like, shush. Like, shh, this feeling is just so much more rich, and just, it's like a picture has 1,000 words. It's just that feeling has so much to it, as opposed to that linear part of, oh, that's beautiful. But the more you know your song, the more you start to see and feel beauty around you and have that gratitude. It's like the beauty and gratitude come together. It's like this wave of energy that hits you, and you can feel it in your heart. It just kind of fills you up. And I wish everybody could get to that point. But and it just starts with getting to know who and what you are, that consciousness, that awareness. And then, wow, it's just, things just start trickling in. It's like, there's just so much there that you just don't know until you start to experience, start to feel. Yeah. And I really want to say something a little bit about like the weavings, because I've been doing it for a number of years now, and we do it in the fall as a big group. And then there's a group of us that do it on Thursdays, oftentimes for years. And it changes you. It's like you get into it at first, you're gonna help heal the planet, but these symbols, they become a part of you, and they're healing you, and they're healing the planet. And you wasn't even aware that it was gonna change me, that it was gonna help heal me, but I've seen all of us change. It's like you go from learning these symbols and weaving these symbols, and then you can't like stop your weaving over here. It's like you start to weave every single day, because you're aware more of your consciousness and your awareness, and 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 you have this knowingness with these symbols that are part of you now, and it weaves into each moment. I mean, you're not always aware, but then there was something that'll come in. It's like, and you're weaving, like you weave throughout your day. Like, at least for me, I don't know if you feel the same way, Laura. It's like you're going about your day, and then you just, like, either one of the symbols will come up, or just feeling of the symbol, and you just put it out there. So it's it's just truly amazing. I can't wait till the book comes out and I can read it. I was like, I think I've been dreaming a little bit of it, and I haven't even read it. Pretty special stuff. I'm so grateful to be a part of all of this. Truly.
The book is close. I mean, we are really, really, really close. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll be announcing it in a really big way.
Helmet.
I love
Oh, sorry.
what you ladies have said. Your experiences and your responses. And Helmut?
My tech, my audio system does a really weird thing. I'm getting a feedback loop on all of you, on everything you say, and even on my own thing. So I've tried to keep up as best I can, but I have a couple of things. Um, one of the things that amazes me about your writing, Kay, as this example shows, you're putting like a decades worth of learning into a few short paragraphs. And that is something I always loved about your books. I didn't understand it in the beginning, but the more I read, the more I was like, holy smokes, what's in here is like so vast, so all encompassing and so deep. It's just beautiful. And the other thing about my experiences and life with past lives is that I can't even imagine anymore not having those experience as my knowingness in this life, because they give it such an enormous context in which to understand this life and yourself and your relationships and everything. And having the opportunity with the studies to step into those experiences and then integrate them into your current life is just wow.
I totally agree with that, Helmet. The ones that I've experienced, I know exactly. I mean, I don't know how many times it's like I get it now. It was like because it's you start seeing things in past lives that you've left for yourself. How the story continues to. Especially this Katasi practice.
I also love the past lives where you're in the midst of it and you're like, "Oh, I know that signature. That's Laura Ketty." Or that signature. Well, we've done it before. We're doing it again. It's pretty cool.
It's been very cool. Very, very cool.
You recognize a number of different people, and sometimes you recognize that you've been with them over and over and over and over and over again. Other people have just kind of come in for a while with a life and then gone off and done their thing and haven't come back yet. But you also see this other string that goes through the lifetimes of a theme of some sort. And things that you love, things you're interested in, things you want to accomplish. I've been involved in the Gatasi tradition and the Egyptian traditions for millennias, literally millennias, and taking all different kinds of roles, being a common person or being, one of the more spiritual leader position types, or everything in between. But this this need to see these traditions living, staying alive, staying clean, accurate, true, getting passed on. This has been a major theme, even on different planets, not just here. And I have other themes. Art and beauty. It's a big one. That just keeps popping up all the time. And this need for the art and for the beauty to be in my life, to have, even if I don't have any money, if I'm living really, really, really simply, to make everything around me as visually and physically as beautiful and comfortable, but efficient, effective, efficient. That has always been part of the lives that I've remembered. And we have other different themes that we want to learn about. And sometimes they're not all always as pretty as a pretty piece of artwork. Sometimes we want to learn about war, or we want to learn about addiction. And so we put ourselves into a lifetime that's going to ensure that we're in contact with those elements and experiencing them from a certain perspective in that lifetime. When you were in a different lifetime, you found your way to the same neighborhood again and experiencing it from a totally different perspective. Maybe one time you were the drunk, and maybe the next time you were a teetotaler, but the people around you were drunks, and you're living the whole story from a different point of view, a totally different experience. And we learn what these things actually are, like addiction. What is that? Why do we have that in our existence? Why do we do that? Or war. Why? Why is there war? Does it have some kind of benefit somewhere for somebody? Or is it just a parade of destruction and death and sickness and pain and sorrow? Feeling all of that, remembering that. When our cat friend was with us, she was, had a long, incredible life, and she was at her end, and she was showing me all these lifetimes that we'd been together, and we had been in Egypt, and I was a priestess taking care of the cats. I was a lower priestess. I was tending to all the needs of the cats in the building. They had a lot of them, a lot of bossed goddess energies, lots of these cats. And I had this great love for this one that I was tending to the most, and that was this cat. It was her in the previous lifetime. It was the same one that was here with us in this lifetime, and she showed me her death in that lifetime, and that we were together, and that we had been in other lifetimes together. And she showed me the deaths, her death, her leaving in that lifetime. It was over and over and over and over again. And it was hard and sad each time. And I remembered how it all felt in those lifetimes as well as this one. But in a way, I don't even have words to say it. It helped me understand this being together physically, coming apart physically, being together again, having to leave again, and this repeating, this cycling over and over, and the experience, this learning of birth and life and death. There's something in that whole picture that she was able to convey to me. She was remarkably telepathic. So, especially at the end of her life, she just, didn't hold anything back. My memories of being with the aliens in the backyard and having the telepathic information exchange with them. They didn't have any linear words. I kept having them. I would try, they kept telling me, just see if you can do that. Just try to not engage them and just feel it all and understand the feeling and the complexity of what it means. You don't have to define every little bit of it. You know what it is, you feel what it is, and experience it. Just let yourself experience. And there's so much beauty in that, in those experiences, and in that that telepathy with our cat, with the aliens, and we shared. I love looking at nebulas and galaxies and the pictures, close up. The more, the better. The wilder, all the colors and everything. I just love it, and I have memories of those things, some of those places. And when I was in this alien's mind that he was showing me, he had the same kind of a love of the galaxies. He was a scientist that studied those things. And he let me see. It was like, kind of like going into the next room. It was in his mind. But we were at the edge of this galaxy. It was the Milky Way. But we were out so we could see the edge of it. And it was so alive and vibrant and moving, and the lights and the flashes, and just it was so awesome. I could just touch it. I could reach out and just touch all these little parts and this energy and taste it. I could hear it made sound. I could hear it. And it was the feeling of so much love, so much beauty, so much aliveness. It just flooded me full. I mean, like I couldn't put in another speck of beauty. I was holding so much and observing and feeling so much. And I could feel his love for that. and his appreciation of it, and the science of it from his point of view. I could see all of it that way, sharing that. And that's the way I felt as a kid with the dirt. Same thing. Love, beauty, gratitude. The Egyptians say, it's one of their creation myths, but it's the one that kind of underlies all the teachings in the ancient temples, the really pre-flood ancient temples. And that's that the universe was created out of love. That the first impulse of consciousness, they call, it's feminine, they call it Oset Kempt. And we would know that as Black Isis. Black is the void, Black Isis. And she was thought of as the ultimate, the goddess of all creation. And the first thing that she birthed was love. First thing was love. She filled the universe with love, and everything else was woven out of the love. Everything's made out of the love. And I can feel the truth of that today, even though, that sounds like somebody's myth, but the truth of this love, this energy, this consciousness creating a birth, birthing something new into being in the universe. And that was love, was pure love. And then the love was manipulated into things that became the material world. I can see that fits all their teachings, all the ancient teachings of how things get birthed to this second, to this day. Things are being birthed in the same way. And they die and disappear and go back into where they came from. We call that often subspace, where they're coming from and they're going to, and there's all that energy and potential and the knowledge and all that stuff is in this subspace. But it's the same process. It's just repeating. And we see the same process with our own lives and our own song.
I'll say it. Wow. Thanks, kid.
Thanks, Laura.
I know. I was like, I didn't want to ruin it, but I did kind of want to stand up and clap.
I know.
I'd love an encore, but I'm afraid of keeping everybody here.
Yeah, our time is coming to an end.
It was gorgeous.
So we do have some comments.
I don't think I want to go there. Thanks, Vicky, for sharing, but I think I want to stick with the energy we have here. I hope everybody is okay with that. Beautiful. Thank you guys for joining us live. Let's see. Next week, we do not have a talk. Family.
We have kids and the grandkids and the great granddaughter and the next great grandchild that's halfway cooked. She- She'll be here with her mama. And they're all coming for a visit. And that is always super delightful.
If you have any questions about the Weavings book, or anything we talked about, put them in the comments in YouTube, or to this in the comments to this video, or send them to us any other way you can find, whichever works for you. And comment, like, and share the videos. It helps the channel. All right, are we good? It's beautiful. We're gonna do definitely gonna do more of that. There's a lot more in that book, so
Yeah, every sentence is packed.
all right. Thank you all again. Love you.
Love you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.